is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
He has time. He's got the left side. Dobbs is there. Leaping grab. Touchdown. Touchdown.
Hey, good morning. It's Ken and Ken in the morning. There's Packer Ken, of course, now his coffee, looking at his phone, sending this show all over the interwebs. And, of course, the man with the ugly coffee mug. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, man. Wasn't no coffee commercial this morning. I was expecting it. I was waiting to hear.
Oh, you need this?
You didn't.
Make your coffee to perfection. Expect nothing else. Do you like to make yourself a hot cup of coffee to start your day? We have both whole bean and grounded. Also great for all you iced coffee if not a hot kind of person. Even make yourself a frappe to quench your thirst. The best tasting coffee with espresso. It's only $18.99 plus taxes for a 12-ounce bag. Buy 1 to 5 bags and shipping is only $7. If you spend over $100, shipping is
Yeah, baby. Get you some coffee.
Get you some coffee.
We're dancing in Chicago.
We're going to say, if everybody's noticed, Ken's in a super happy mood today, and we all know why.
Because that's right, Sarah. What's you going to do, Sarah, when Shane Waldron gets fired?
I know, but I don't understand how's this going to help you guys.
New play caller.
Same offenses. Same offense. You guys ain't changing that.
Look, the offense, the offensive scheme we saw when they could provide Caleb protection, it worked. And unlike the last scheme, it pushed the ball downfield. You know, it did something. However, Shane Waldron may have designed a pretty decent offense, but he can't call it for shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get it. I mean,
also more than that too, because you'd think if it was just that they said, you know, dude, you just suck as a play caller, they would have just said, okay, you're not calling plays anymore. But to completely fire the guy, he had to suck all around in general.
Well, I mean, they may tweak. I don't think, obviously, they're not going to change the scheme. They're going to maybe do some little tweaks. But I mean, it's like, Rob, you could probably relate here. You ever had an employee who was like he could design the layout for the house that you're going to hang lights on. He could design the layout, but when it came to execution, he just couldn't execute his own vision. And he's just like, all right, dude, you could design it and it looks good, but when you put it up, it's a hot mess. You have no dexterity to do it, right? Yeah. That's Shane Waldron when it comes to offense. Like, he designed a pretty decent offense, but he couldn't execute his own vision, and that's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I mean, you're not a play caller.
No, that's not what he's saying, Tyler. He's not saying that, Tyler. He's saying they're staying with the same system. They're just he's saying
they're not.
Yeah,
Tyler,
they won't change systems till next year.
No, if then, I think if anything, they just tweak it. Like, they'll take what they like from it.
So what happens if this doesn't work?
That's where I was going, Rob. Like,
okay.
So what they did is that they promoted the passing coordinator to OC. Okay, so he is now going to be the OC calling the offense. Now, if it works, right? If his tweaks, his management works, he may get to keep the job. In which case, you'll see tweaks to the scheme in the off season. You're not going to see a whole new scheme next year. they'll just be tweaks. If he sucks, then yeah, they'll probably go out and get another OC, someone who who's probably been an OC for 2 or 3 teams somewhere before, and they'll do that whole thing again. And then there might be a whole new playbook, a whole new scheme, and everything for them till their next year. But as it is right now, mid-season, they're not going to change the playbook. Now they may simplify a few things and they may tweak a few things. One of the things I hope he does do is take some things off of Caleb's plate. I think Shane Waldron put way too much on Caleb's plate, which will benefit him in the long term. But as we all know, the Bears fans can't handle long-term thinking. They can only handle the here and now.
Yeah,
so it's helping here and now to take the stuff off the plate.
Yeah. Oh, what I don't get is why they won't put him in almost like a paint by numbers type of shit.
Every other rookie quarterback's in that, right?
That's my point of it. Of hey, here's 2 reads to make. If that's not there, throw it away. Run. Just make it super simple for the guy. And who is your pass game coordinator that just got promoted?
Oh, his actual name on that.
Yeah,
I saw the name this morning.
Yeah, because I have absolutely no idea who any of your guys' assistant coaches are.
Good morning, Kim. And good morning, Matt. Hold on. Let me find the name. Thomas Brown. I don't know much about him, but just the fact that he was a coach. But that's how it usually is with all these coaches.
Oh,
they are.
He apparently used to be a running back.
So we'll see how this works. Look, for me, like I said yesterday, in fact, let me see if I can find the picture and I'll bring it up as to when I knew, or for me, when it was over. It was one. Yeah, here. Let me. All right, this for me. Here. This is when I knew. For me, this is when it. When that picture right there, that's when I knew it was over. For me, that's when Shane was gone. And there's a video that goes with it, and Shane there is laughing, and Caleb's like, "Oh, really?" Like he just rolls his eyes, turns his head, like, "Come on." I mean, that right there for me was like, "All right, Waldron's got to go." So,
good morning, there, Yoli.
Jason.
And the funny thing is Rob and I were talking about this a bit with LaFleur, that he needs to be way harder on the guys with the penalties and shit, and stop trying to be their friend so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, with Eberflus, to me, he's got that Phil Jackson vibe, right? Like he does. I think maybe it's because of the beard and going gray and everything, but he's got that Phil Jackson kind of vibe. And the players respect him, and they react well to it. I mean, look at Phil Jackson.
I will say your defense is 100% bought into him.
And the offense is
I just don't know about the other half of the team.
Well, the offense is still behind it, but the offense was not behind Shane Waldron. They gave up on Waldron. They were giving up on Waldron and not, they're saying they were out there doing what they were doing, and then they asked, well, what about your head coach? Oh, we love the guy. And then with the second half of that sentence, which they didn't publicly air out and say, is the answer was probably more like, oh, we love our head coach. It's just he's an asshole. We can't stand it. That was the other half of that sentence that they would omit. I mean, but you could see it written all over their face. Yeah, we love our head coach. He's awesome. Our OC just sucks.
Here's a super floater for you, and this is massively grasping at straws here. But we all know a certain coordinator that was an absolute terrible head coach. Would you next year, because he has shown that he's a damn good coordinator, would you take Josh McDaniels?
You know what? I mean, yeah. I mean, look, at McDaniels has been a great coordinator, but how much of that was because of who his head coach was and Bill Belichick? But you know what? I don't know if I would be against McDaniels coming in as the OC in the future. I mean, he's definitely never shouldn't be a head coach anywhere, but he has proven to be a good OC over 2 decades. So I mean, that's an interesting question there, Ken. I guess it's one that we'll have to answer though, depending on how the interim OC does. Because if he does well, and let's say he comes in now and now he starts calling plays, and let's say this Bears offense, which is loaded, right, loaded with ammunition and weapons, right? They're like a U.S. carrier battle group that hasn't been able to fire a missile. And let's say now they start firing on all cylinders, and they come into Green Bay this week and they start hitting, and they go on these last 8 games. Let's say they win 6 or 7 of the last 8 with this guy as OC. I mean, obviously, if that were to happen,
I was going to say if you win 6 or 7 of the last 8, that guy should be cemented in the freaking Bears.
Right. So if they go 4-4, let's say they go 4-4 even. If they go 4-4, which would not be ideal, but
I was going to say with your schedule though, it might be the most realistic.
So let's say they go 4-4 or 5-4, or not 4-4 or 5-3. He might keep his job. Like if let's say they lose games, let's say they lose to Detroit, 28 to 23 or 28 to 27, or some stuff, or some, who cares, Rob? Or some stuff like that. He might keep the job. It depends. We'll see how he does. But I mean, bringing in a new OC next year is premature at this point because they just promoted this guy. Let's see what he does. That's like last year in Vegas, right? They promote Antonio Pierce, and it wasn't like, well, who's the head coach going to be next year? It was like, well, let's see how AP does, and then they kept AP. So same situation with they promoted a guy. He's got 8 games. Let's say he takes Waldron's offense, makes some minor tweaks, becomes a better play caller, runs a better first series script, and all of a sudden this team turns offensively to match the defense. Because look with this defense, if this offense turns it around, the team can win games with the weapons they got. So let's see if that's the answer.
What did I miss?
Waldron got fired.
You didn't miss much.
Waldron got fired.
And Luka not only hopped off the rails, he's in the next county over.
Yeah.
Sarah getting to him.
Eberflus, look at y'all stupid sometimes. I swear, Eberflus is not going anywhere. I mean, unless
Luka.
Matt said Getsy for offensive coordinator.
Yeah, unless Flus loses the locker room, he's not going anywhere. I mean, Poles has already said he's on contract through next season. And Poles has been saying we're going to break the cycle of quarterback head coach. We're going to break the cycle. He is, unless something significant happens that would force him to fire Flus, and he doesn't care if the fans are yelling about it or not.
You guys just fired your OC. How's this not significant? I mean.
No, what are you talking about, Rob? That we're talking about for Flus being significant.
I understand. I would fire him
Flus
too.
Fired the OC. He said, "Look, you're not getting it done." He's not going to fire. Poles is not going to fire Flus unless Flus loses the locker room. And if that defense would have to go through a massive collapse, and he'd have to lose the locker room, and they'd probably have to lose the rest of the game, lose outright the rest of the season.
I think if you only pull off even 2, I'll say 2 wins or less, I say Flus is gone.
I think if it's 2 wins or less, there's a conversation, but I don't think he's gone. It'll depend on the state of the locker room. You know, look at that. It's a 2-pronged thing. If they go 2-8, they can kind of say, well, the offensive coordinator issues, but if the locker room is lost to him, if he's lost the locker room and that, then yeah, I would lean a little bit more to agree with you.
I think if you only win 2 more games, I think DJ Moore is asking for a trade.
I think DJ Moore was just did not like the OC for nothing, and I think he's probably one of the happiest guys in the locker room today.
Maybe so.
The whole offense is rejoicing. But I mean,
I don't
if
disagree
Flus
with you.
lose the locker room and they go 2-6 over the last 8, then I would say there's probably going to be a very, very deep conversation about it. But look, at Poles' intent's been made pretty clear. He's planning on keeping Eberflus through next season.
All right. So was it the offensive line or the offensive coordinator that was the problem?
It could be both. I think it was.
Yeah,
both.
I think it's both.
I mean, look at though. I mean, But Rob does bring up an interesting point though, because I've been looking more at the PFF grades, which I know, like, Bear Down Mike hates PFF. Whatever, dude. PFF is how these guys get graded. It's how their contracts get determined. It depends. It helps determine who's getting playing time because
shut the fuck up,
the grades actually mattered, right? They've individually, these guys actually score pretty well in their grading. They grade out pretty well. So I think part of it was the play calling, not putting them in right positions at the right time. The other part is, though, they haven't yet gotten their original starting five out there in a game. The original five that they envisioned coming out of camp to be their starting lineup has yet to play it down together in the regular season. That may happen this week. We'll see what happens with the injury report. But I think part of it's been the play calling has not adjusted to the personnel on the field, and that was Waldron. That was Waldron's problem. He Mike Marched himself.
Right? I asked this yesterday.
Like Mike March was everyone said, oh, Mike March was a great OC when he was with St. Louis, right? Greatest show on turf. That was all Mike March. So what does Lovie Smith do? Lovie Smith brought him into Chicago and he sucked because he didn't adapt his offense to the personnel he had. Sure, he had the quarterback. Sure, he had the wide receiver. Oh, but he didn't have the offensive line to do it. I think some of that was Shane Waldron's problem too.
First of all, Matt, I'm not gay. Never say it.
What?
Not Rob in the way he deals with comments sometimes.
I'm just talking to Matt. Matt's just chiming in the comments. I'm just fucking with the trolls. That's all, bro.
I don't see where he said you're gay.
He said,
though.
"Hey, say it with me, Rob. Bear down." I'm like, I'm not gay, Matt. I'm not gay, Matt.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. I agree. I think Waldron definitely didn't adapt his offense. Like after week 3, your offensive line is not working. Like you need to go to shorter drops, like getting the ball out faster, maybe run RPOs. Caleb ran RPOs plenty at USC. Like it's something that he does well. That's one thing that I've been surprised is that they haven't cut his drops. Like Waldron seemed content to be like, no, it's okay. We're going to go with the 7-step drop still, like I know he's been sacked 45 times in the last 4 games.
Yeah,
we're going to go ahead and still go with the 7-step drop, like also I think quick handoffs and maybe even I don't know if I've never seen Caleb do it. Not to say he can't do it. I've just never seen it on film, but they should try to run some quick pitches, outside pitches to the running backs and stuff. Just get the ball out of his hands fast,
Well,
I mean, what do you have to lose at this point, right?
You're not wrong, but I think I know. I think I can kind of put the pulse on why Shane Waldron kind of sucked the way he sucked. Because you come into the 2 games before the bye, and that offense produced and it moved. They were putting up 35 points a game because Caleb was getting protected. That's all I was saying yesterday. When Caleb gets protected, Waldron's offense worked, right? They put up good points. It worked. The ball got distributed to multiple receivers. He had time to throw. They were able to execute the offense. They came off the bye for these 3 games after the bye. Well, guess what? These defenses were better than what you had faced and stressed your offensive line way more. But then you come into the Washington game in the 4th quarter. They put together these drives in the 4th quarter, right, which is probably more Caleb than it was Shane. Once again, then he goes to Arizona thinking that everything is okay. Well, then Arizona is just a one-off because it was okay in Washington. It was okay in the 2 games before, so he makes no adjustments for this game, last game. And that's part of the problem, right? It's he didn't make the adjustments. Because everyone said, look, we're all happy with the adjustments this team made during the game in most cases. But then Shane Waldron just completely stopped making adjustments. He became Matt Nagy. Look at Matt Nagy when he was the head coach, right? Year 1, he would make adjustments. He was creative. And then the next 2 years after that, it was yeah, I've already shown I can do it. I ain't got to do it no more. And now he's the OC finally again in KC. So, my God, Dwayne, all caps. You trying to yell us out of the room there? Jesus. My God. Yeah, we know you're 8-1.
It just seems to me, and I'm not just speaking about the Bears offensive coordinator either. The Raiders offensive coordinator gets it. He just got fired. It's you can't just measure it from game to game. Like, oh, our offensive line played good this game, so next game they should be okay. It's like, look at the whole totality of the season. Like, if your offensive line has been underperforming more games than they've been performing, then you should probably like, hey, maybe we should change something up, because the odds are we're not going to go from, underperforming more often than not to, hey, now they're on point every single game. Like, like I was saying the same thing about the Raiders. Like, why are we, I don't understand why we're sending Minshew back on these 7-step drops and like he can't be protected. And why are we letting him throw the ball in the first place? Oh, that's right, because, you changed our power run game to a zone run game and we can't run that. So now we can't run the ball either. Like, it was.
And look, it's the same thing, for AP as it is for Flus in a lot of ways, right? I mean, look, they're not gonna fire AP at the end of this year, just like the Bears aren't gonna fire Flus, because in both cases the head coaches have their locker room. They've shown improvements on their team, and they're doing other things really well for the team. Like, fans, I don't get fans sometimes. Well, I do and I don't. It's like, oh my God, we got to change everything about the regime and start over. Basically, is what you're saying. Like, JB, oh my God, they're going to need a new head coach and a new OC next year. Well, dude, no, you don't need to fire your head coach if your head coach is a defensive-minded head coach and your defense is still a top 10 defense in this league. You probably don't need to change anything with your head coach or that side of the ball. You just got to tweak your offensive side of the ball. If you have an offensive-minded head coach and your offense is humming along as a top 10 offense, but your defense is slacking and losing you games, then you might need to change your DC. You don't have to change everything out because one thing is broken. I mean, it's like saying, hey, JB, I've got one flat tire. I must get 4 new tires. You wouldn't, because it'd be stupid to spend the money. JB would like it. He likes to take your money. I don't want to spend the money on 3 extra tires I don't need.
Except that I have heard, like, so there is a contingent of Raider fans that already wants AP's head, dude. Like, they're absolutely dissatisfied with the way that he's running the team this year.
There was a contingent that wanted him fired the second he got hired, just like Eberflus. The same fans are crying now were the same ones crying when they hired him.
Now that contingent is growing. Now that contingent is growing to the point where I think Mark Davis is starting to hear some of it. I don't know. I read a thing I read an article, and it's just one article, but it said that the Raiders very well could fire AP at the end of the season to try to pursue Ben Johnson as their head coach.
Situational though, Joe. I mean, I look at if Ben Johnson becomes available, there are a couple teams who may fire their head coach if they think they can get him. I mean, I think that's a Met PC thing. But I mean, I think he's great for the Raiders. Just like I like Eberflus for the Bears. I like AP for the Raiders. They just need to fix their offensive coordinator. Both these guys do. I mean, look, if the defense sucked in Green Bay, it doesn't mean I'm firing, your head coach because he's got your offense humming, right? He still has the players. And JB, you don't know what you don't know. I hate to say it, but you don't know what you don't know because, they look dejected on the field. Yes, because they hate their offensive coordinator. But look at the defense; they're still playing hard. Right, and when these guys are asked about their head coach, they're saying the things that you want to hear them say. They're like, "Oh, my head coach is fine. They just don't finish the second half of that sentence, which is, but my OC sucks that." You don't have to fire the entire coaching staff if your problem is in one area. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to do so. I'm not going to fire LaFleur because the Packers' defense isn't performing. I'm going to fire the DC. Get him another DC and fix it that way. Why would I fire LaFleur because his defense sucks?
That's right, Luke. That's a huge difference. Eberflus does not have a winning record as a coach, bro. He's not a good coach. He's not.
Oh, boo-hoo. What a fucking stupid argument. I'm going to say it that way for a reason. The first year, there was no completely rebuild. Last year, they were still in rebuild. I mean, look,
he's been there 3 years, and you still got an O-line problem. Been the same problem since he's been there.
So the head,
still got that same dumbass O-line coach.
Did the head coach sign him? Did the head coach get him injured?
Fire that bum.
Okay. Well, fuck it. You know what? Fire your head coach.
I mean, bro, come on, stop it,
your
man.
Quarterback
I've been listening to you for 20 minutes. About how
Joe,
he's
Joe,
he's been there
Green
3
Bay
fucking
needs
years
a head
already.
coach.
Eberflus has been there 3 years, and you guys are going
Green Bay
backwards
needs a
this
head
year.
coach. They can't win. They can't win when it counts in the playoffs. The quarterback throws interceptions. He just got his quarterback hurt for the season.
I mean, a week ago, the single point of contention was the O-line, and now you fired your OC today.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
That
your whole team is in trouble, and it's the head coach's responsibility to get it under control.
The whole team is in trouble,
bro.
Rob?
It is.
Really, my defense is pretty damn good in Chicago. It's still a top 10 defense, but they're in trouble because the defense sucks. Okay.
You're 5-4, bro. You're on a 3-game losing streak.
I'm 5-4 on a 3-game losing streak.
Or 4-5. Excuse me, 4-5 on a 3-game losing streak,
and still have a top 10 defense. Yep, the whole team's in trouble. You're right. The defense sucks in Chicago, Joe. I need a new defensive coordinator.
Just saying, bro. We're talking about Eberflus. We're not talking about the defense.
Who do you think runs the defense?
Who runs your offense? Clearly not him. He's the fucking head coach, bro. How does he only run one side of the fucking team?
Really?
How is that possible? How's he only in charge of one side of the team? That kills me.
A lot of head coaches are like that, Rob. LaFleur doesn't run your defense.
No,
your DC runs the defense.
If he has to step in, he will. He makes sure it runs.
Yeah,
your coach doesn't make sure the offense is running.
Lose games with your defense. These guys who are offensive or defensive-minded head coach usually work more on one side of the ball than the other. They're usually not that good on the other side of the ball.
There's a good comparison right there. Look, and that's not even LaFleur. We're just talking KOC and Flus. They came in at the same time. Huge difference.
They're not firing him. I know you all want to see him fired.
I'm not saying fire him. Keep him. He's a bum. Keep him. Keeps you guys down.
I'm going to laugh when we beat you this week. I'm going to laugh when we intercept Love a few times, get a couple of sacks, and beat them.
Hold on. Since you're bringing that up, Ken, and I know it's more directed from you and Rob going at it.
Yeah, I know.
Do we want to go background for background bet? I've already done it with the other two. I might as well.
I don't do stupid bet. I don't bet. I learned a long time ago not to bet on games. I don't need to be.
And I did it with every other fan base.
You're still learning. I learned a long time ago you don't make those bets. It's almost like putting a hex on yourself.
Yeah, I don't bet on football either.
Yeah.
Because I bet on the Raiders.
Mason, I am not sad right now. I love you guys, but I'm not sad. I am perfectly fine and happy right now with what's going on. I am fine. You guys are the ones who are showing, oh my God, you have to fire this guy. And I'm telling you, no, he doesn't have to fire anyone else. He made the change. He made the change.
We'll see. That's all I can say. All you can say, bro.
Yeah, but who's going to be calling your plays now? Who's going to be calling your plays now?
The new OC.
Yeah, but so he's going to go out and try to find someone?
No. They promoted a guy.
They promote from within. It's let me give you the guy's name. Thomas Brown. He was the passing game coordinator.
Yeah, and apparently he used to be a running back, but I don't think he played professionally. I think it was in college.
And Joe Froze. So let's see what they do. Let's see what they do with change here and if it fixes things. And look, it would be amazing if it did. I mean, it'd be great if it did.
I mean, I have a beautiful segue into a next topic. Who saw Tua just about get his brains knocked out of his ear trying to perform a tackle on that interception?
Wait, what was that again?
Hey, if the Bears want to hire me, I'll do it cheap, dude. $250,000 for the rest of the season. I'll bet you I do better than Waldron did.
Oh, but who saw
two-step
last night?
RPOs, pitch to the outside. We'll run some slants. No more screens. Yeah. We'll run some slants.
Yeah, no more screens, please.
We'll run some tight end fades, like tight end posts.
I think that was the other problem with Waldron. Like,
I'll bring my Madden play.
He would do that. Like he did that screen to DJ Moore that went for -2 yards. That was the first time they ran that formation all game. The second the defense saw the formation, they knew what it was. Like Waldron was not good at masking his routes either.
But what I was saying is, did anybody else see Tua just about get his brains knocked out of his ear trying to perform a tackle last night on the interception?
I don't know why Tua does that shit. Like, dude,
Mm-hmm. You'd
just
think
need
with
to-
all those concussions,
Yeah.
he'd say, well, you know what? That sucks I threw that. I'm just going to stand here this time, guys.
it's oh my God, Jason. Jesus Christ. I love other fan bases because they're so engrossed in their own fan base and they know everything better for the other team, right? I mean, look at you make the change at OC, maybe things get better. That's why they made the change.
Sarah wants to know.
If it was your team, Jason,
Mhm.
you'd be sitting here going, all right, things are going to get better. We got rid of the bum, and now we can move on and change something. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be a complete turnaround, but if I'm not going to be optimistic about it, I might as well just not even bother watching any more games this year if I just think it's all doom and gloom. Now, Jason, you may be like that, and you may think that, well, they fired my head coach, or they fired my OC or my DC, and you might think that your team is going to suck forever. Great on you. I don't. I'm saying, look, they made the change. Let's see what happens. You're muted, Ken.
I think if the Bears change up their scheme a bit and start getting the ball out of Caleb's hands quicker, they could actually give the Packers a game, dude. Like, and I actually am hoping for it. I would like to see a showdown between Williams and Love, like where they're both playing good ball and we get a high scoring game. Like, I would like to see that.
Actually, Joe, I'm right there with you. I'd love to see the Bears actually be competent. And that's not even a full dig. It's just they haven't been competent the last few years, where we can have a real freaking football match instead of us just drubbing them every time. I mean, it's great to brag about, but I want that victory to mean a little more.
Dude, I want a slugfest, dude.
Jason, it is common. What I'm telling you is common sense. You're sitting there saying, "Oh, they're still going to suck." They got rid of the coach that lost the offense, that the offense didn't want to play for. They fired him. Just from that alone, it's going to get better because attitudes are going to get better in that locker room and in that office, that meeting room where the offense. Ken, you muted yourself. It's going to be better just for that, right? So just on that level alone, it's already better. Common sense tells you got rid of the problem on offense in your play caller. That the next play caller should be better. If not, then why'd you make the change? Or at least you're trying to, and if it's not better, at least you're trying to make the change. They still got to figure it out. Look at this Bears team's been figuring things out over the last couple of years. If their defense has gotten figured out, they figured out, get some players in there. Finally, spending on offense, bringing some good offensive weapons. Now they got to figure out how to call an offense, right? I get it. You don't have an offensive minded.
I just said that's what I'd like to see. I didn't say that was what was going to happen. I said I would like to see a showdown, like a real quarterback battle between Caleb and Jordan Love. Like I think that would be fun to watch.
Next year, when they get a real offense and a real OC next year, Joe. Just saying.
I mean, like I said, I don't think.
Yeah, Joe. There's no way.
There's
no way.
It's not impossible for them to change their scheme up just a little bit and start getting the ball out faster. And I think if they do that, they'll win more games. Like, just from
I agree. I've been saying that from the beginning. I've been saying there's ways you can work around having a shitty O-line, man. Other teams do it all the time. You have to make adjustments elsewhere.
Yeah, run play action, run RPOs, short slants, and quick
That's
passing.
what I'm massively surprised at is we haven't been seeing RPOs and shit out of there. You'd think with how crappy that line is, hey, there's already a chance they're going to suck anyway, so why not give it a shot to catch somebody napping?
Well, it's not just that. Caleb ran a lot of RPOs at USC. Like, it's something that he does well. So I'm surprised that they haven't gone to that, considering that's one of his strengths. Like, you really want to give, especially as a rookie, don't you want to give your quarterback the best chance to succeed? Like, and honestly, his whole playbook this year should have been quick passes and RPOs. Get him comfortable.
Part of the problem, though, Joe, and why we didn't see that is because in the first 6 games they went 4-2, and they had success with the playbook. And then when you come, so it kind of like masked it a little bit. And then when they come to the Washington game, and really that's, the Washington game, the first 3 quarters, the offense was non-existent. And all of a sudden, though, that fourth quarter, Caleb, and it may have been more Caleb than Shane, puts these drives together, right? And then they lose on the Hail Mary. So it's kind of like, all right, well, they're still okay. And it may have masked it because then when you get to Arizona, all of a sudden there's a problem. It's like, oh, this was just a blip in the road. And then he does nothing for New England. And he's sitting there laughing on the bench with Caleb looking at him like, what the hell's up with this dude? That's when finally, I think, as fans or as people watching from the outside, we saw how much he had lost his offense. When Caleb rolled his eyes, shook his head at his offensive coordinator, that's when you knew there are problems in that locker room with this OC. Up until that point, though, it kind of got masked a little bit because of what was happening, by being 4-2 and then losing on a Hail Mary. In Washington masked it until those last 2 games, and it started to come out in what the players were showing on the field, right? And we maybe mistook some of that, like DJ walking off the field is like, well, he's giving up on Eberflus. No, he gave up on his OC and his play call. And that's what we started to see the last 2 weeks. So I'm not saying we're going to have a shootout this week. We're going to have this great offensive battle between the Bears and the Packers, but I would think that the Bears offense might be better this week because they're going to do more of what Joe is talking about.
I would hope so.
Because here's the thing too. Let's say I'm going to fire Rob as my coordinator. I'm not going to promote Ken until I have a conversation with him and say, so what do you think we can do differently, right? And I'm going to gauge Ken's answers. And it says, okay, it sounds like he's got it. He understands what the problem is, right? And he knows how to fix it. Then I'm going to give him the shot. And that's probably, you would assume, what Eberflus and Foles did with when they decided to promote from within. They talked to the guy. What do you think the problem is? How do we fix it? I love our running back coach in Chicago. The guy is great energy. The players, running backs love him. I'm surprised he didn't get the call. So, why did he go to the passing game coordinator? He must have said something on how he's plan his fix-it plan.
Well, I think your passing game coordinator has a little bit of a leg up on the running backs coach for if they're going to promote somebody to OC, just because he's got a little bit more understanding of the offense and not just a focal point. Granted, yes, I know the other guy knows the offense and that too, but I think the passing game coordinator, since that's his job, he's actually focused in on it.
Yeah. I think we'll see a lot of the run. I think we'll see a lot more of the run this week in Green Bay. I think there'll be a lot more running this week in Green Bay. So, yeah, and when the offensive players start talking about, well, we're taking a step backward, we're not doing as well, that was kind of also the writing for Waldron, I think, after the game this week. Look, these guys weren't talking about the head coach. They're talking about the OC. Eberflus still has this locker room. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. It's going to be interesting. But that was a big move, and the Bears don't necessarily make these kinds of moves during the season.
So you're definitely going to lose. Darcy just said that he thinks you're going to win the next 2.
Well, thank you, Darcy, for what it's worth. Look, it's not that Green Bay is beating great teams soundly either. Green Bay's got some issues that's been kind of masked by finding ways to win on walk-off field goals as well. So it's going to be a good game this week. It's going to be a good game this week. Very good game. So, yeah, Luca, they were talking about when they do – so they have, most teams in the practice, they have the full squad, and then, the offense goes here, defense goes here, this, that, and the other. And the players were talking a lot about how Shane Waldron ran the offensive practices and ran offensive meetings. Well, Dan, I would assume that based off what the players have said, what Caleb has said, that, yeah, he does. Now look, now that Shane Waldron's gone, we'll be able to look and see how players react, and what their attitudes on the field are like, and we'll probably be able to gauge that better. We'll be able, because obviously Shane did not have the offense. You saw that with the picture I showed in the video. So now, if that continues, well, then we might be able to say Flus has definitely lost the locker room, but we can't say that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming off the bye is a mixed bag, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You call getting back healthy, I mean, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, with LaFleur's tender, we've been up and down with coming off of the bye. So I'm not going to say that the bye is some huge advantage other than we got healthier.
I think the bye is a misnomer in general. Like, I'm sure JB's already looking up the numbers of what the win-loss record is for teams after the bye week. But these guys get the week off. Sometimes they come back injured in their week off. Sometimes their heads aren't in it when they come back from the week off because they get taken out of the cycle. I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun game this week, though. I'm not saying Green Bay doesn't have what it takes. They've obviously gotten what it's taken because they're finding ways to win, be it walk-off field goals. What I'm saying is, it's not like they're blowing out Jacksonville. They did it.
That's what I want to see out of Green Bay, is for us to gel and play a full game and not just be, we sucked for 3 quarters or 2.5 and looked absolutely stellar for 1.5 quarters. I want to see that stellar play throughout.
I mean, Green Bay, look at this game. Why is it not? Let me bring Joe in. This game with Green Bay, I mean, look at the Green Bay's defense isn't exactly stellar. Their offense has not been hitting on all cylinders. Love is Love hurt? Is he not hurt? I don't know. I keep hearing about the MCL. So Love has been throwing an inordinate amount of interceptions, I guess would be the way we could put it, as of late, or unlove-like play. So it's not like Green Bay is favored to win this thing by 21 or something. It's gonna be a game.
And Darcy, you can keep wishing and hoping, but you don't have anything to go up against it. And you can say you'll shave your head, but you already did a while ago, so that don't count no more, buddy.
He loves his Justin Trudeau too much. Hey, Darcy, I want to know how many more fans now live on your side of the border. Are they coming over for the Timmies and the hockey and still being Detroit Lions fans? I don't know. But
you have a beard bet with Darcy, Ken?
No, I do not.
No, Darcy doesn't have a beard.
He keeps hoping and praying.
I was gonna say, man, I've only seen him shave the beard once, and that was a bet he made with a Packer fan. I would highly doubt he bets his beard against somebody else.
It would have to be somebody else that's got a freaking beard as righteous as this one.
Yeah, that's right, bro. Don't fuck with the beard.
I think this game that we're going to see this Sunday, Bears-Packers, we're going to see a lot of running. A lot of running.
What? Are you fucking kidding me? Look at that shit. The Packers are 11th in total defense, and the Bears are 12th. Is that true, Ken?
Yeah, Bears.
Somebody look that up and tell me that's not fucking true.
Right, that's what JB's looked it up. So
what?
We've slipped the last couple games. We've got a lot of injuries, so we have definitely slipped. We didn't get nearly the quarterback pressures we should be getting, and we thought, we've been without Brisker and Gordon. Well, Gordon came back. Brisker still hasn't come back. I'm worried about that dude, man. He's missed 5 weeks. He's been out 5 weeks with that concussion. It's going to be a good game this weekend.
Yeah, it is 1,000% true.
What?
Bears
my Lanta!
The Bears were like 7.
We just been listening to this for like an
and then
hour.
they started slipping with the injuries. And look at with the offense being ineffectual, that kind of makes some sense too. That they would drop off a little, get gas.
Surprisingly, it's our defense is ranked better. Our rush defense is ranked better than yours, And your
Your
pass
run defense.
Yep. And your pass defense is ranked a little bit better than ours.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I said when we were beginning of the year. Your run defense will be the first thing that gets better. I mean, I think we'll see a lot of the run, though. I think we'll see a lot of the run this weekend start. And I think we'll see, like what Joe's saying, I hope they go with some more RPOs, more short passing game, using Cole Kmet more. Those are things that will help.
What's up, Isaac?
How we doing?
That will help. So it's going to be a fun game.
Bro, did you hear our defense is ranked higher than the Bear defense?
That is crazy.
That's crazy, bro.
No, I believe it. Look, Bears got a solid defense. Eberflus got them coached up this year, but at some point your defense is going to get tired as the games wear on, carrying the offense. I mean, the offense has been sputtering out. You know what I mean? Shane Waldron being fired is the cherry on top because, JB was kind of right about Shane Waldron that, he was helped by Dave Canales in becoming, a good coordinator. And without Dave Canales, we see the fruits of that labor. But Eberflus, he's done a good job coaching wise as defensively, but offensively he's lost leverage to him, and that's what's doing him in right now. That defense is just getting tired of, just the offense sputtering out.
He needs his Buddy Ryan offense.
Yeah.
Now Ditka had that offense, but then he had Buddy Ryan on the defense. It's just the inverse. He needs his Doug Collins, he needs his Buddy Ryan. He needs that guy on the offensive side of the ball who's confident to call a good offense because he's been given the weapon. And I think part of it, like I've said a couple times now, I think part of it got masked because of some of the early success in the first 6 games, especially you look at the game in London, how that offense ran really well, and they had 2 blowout wins, right? So they're like, okay. And then I think they get masked a little bit more in the Washington game when they come back in the fourth quarter. And so, if you're watching that game, you're like, okay, well, the offense figured it out in the fourth quarter, came back and put us in a position to win the game. It took a Hail Mary to beat us. Maybe it's not so bad. And then the last 2 games confirm no, he's really not that good. We need to get rid of him. And then
the other thing about it is Odunze, he's a good player. You know what I mean? He's going to be a good player. You know what I mean? You can see the thing. You can see the instincts into him. You know what I mean? And he was good in college. But I think the Bears should have chose a lineman like Joe Alt or somebody like that. With the pick that they had.
Where did Alt go in the draft?
He went 8th, right?
He went to the Chargers. I think it was
he was already gone by the time the Bears got there.
No, weren't you guys the 4th pick and then he got picked 5th?
No,
9th. They were 1 and 9.
Oh, yeah, you were 9th. That's right. But still, you could have got a lineman, to help you guys out there. Maybe one lineman doesn't change things. But
hindsight's 20/20 on that. I think that, like I said, the offensive line that they thought was going to be their starting 5 coming out of the preseason has yet to play it down in the regular season together.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Poles thought, hey, I've got the players. Injuries happen and lack of depth showed. And the whole next man up mentality, it sounds great when we say it. Next man up. It sounds like, oh yeah. But come on, dude. You're the backup for a reason. You're not as good as the starter. And you may be able to do next man up for a short amount of time, right? And overperform for a short amount of time, but you can't maintain it for long periods of time. And we've asked some of these guys in the O-line to do just that. We've asked of them to do just that. And it's Herculean effort. They've tried their best, but they just can't. Now we're starting to get, we got one of our guys back last week finally. And then what happened? We lose both our tackles. And Tevin Jenkins was balling and then gets hurt. Okay. So I think they that's what the shopping list is in the offseason and the draft is O-line. And as JB keeps telling us, it's a very deep O-line draft. Well, it's great that we have 3 picks in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, if I were the Bears, I would spend all my picks on linemen, every single one of them.
I think they're going to go offensive line, and they're going to look at corners and safeties. They're going to want to build some more depth because we lost Brisker and Gordon, The guys have played really well, but we could still use some more depth.
All right. And to answer Luca's question, the Vikings are ranked 10th. So in the NFC North, we got 10, 11, and 12.
Wow.
We're the
Wow,
Lions.
really? Really? That's how the defenses go?
The Lions are 19th.
Wow.
NFC North are no joke, man.
No fucking around in the North, bro.
This division's running the NFL.
Yeah, bro. And A-Dub said that we're in the top 5 in offense. He says we're in top 5 offense.
No division in the NFL has as much wins as the North.
Well, that's why the Bears have the hardest schedule in the NFL right now for the remainder of the season. 6 of the last 8 are in the division.
Yeah. Dude, you know what's the crazy thing? Dolphins at 2 and 3 are second in their division. Like or 2 wins and fucking 7 losses or whatever the hell.
And they're second place.
They're in second place in their division. Isn't
How far
that crazy?
out are they out of first, though? How far out are they out of first?
I think the Bills lead them by what?
Oh, it's the Bills? Okay.
Yeah.
They have
like 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, it's like it's they're not catching them.
Hey, to answer your question, Darnell Wright at right tackle is working out great. He missed last week with the injury, but I don't think Braxton Jones at left tackle, Darnell Wright at right tackle. You don't hear too much belly aching from Bears fans. A little bit about Jones this year. He's kind of had a little bit of a slide this year, but the tackles for the most part, people are happy. It's been the interior O-line where Bears fans, especially at the right guard, where Bears fans have been unhappy.
DJ Moore is having a huge slump. I mean, like,
play calling. You know what's going to be interesting to see this week? The last couple of weeks, the receivers are not winning their routes. And that's why when Caleb does get extra time, he's looking, there's no one to throw to. They're not winning their routes. I want to see if that changes this week. If they start winning routes, now there's extra pep to the staff.
There's a couple of reports out there that Eberflus lost the locker room. And we won't see how true that is until either he gets let go or fired or leaves the next season, whichever.
I think what we saw on the field was more of because we haven't seen on the defense the body language we've seen on the offense. If it starts translating where we start seeing defensive players having that same kind of body language, then that would be a sign that Eberflus has lost their locker room. But as of now, the players are saying the right things. The defense isn't showing that. I think the body language is more of a Shane Waldron thing, especially when you see the video of him and Caleb on the bench last week where Caleb's rolling his eyes at him like, this joke. I think it was Shane at this point. Now, I could be wrong. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, one person that did lose the locker room is Mike McCarthy. You hear the Parsons comments?
And
Jerry refuses to fire McCarthy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely
remember
insane.
He never really wanted to fire the Clapper when everybody said the Clapper sucks. You know what I mean? And Jerry's that kind of loyal guy for whatever reason. He thinks he's the smartest one in the room. So he's not going to deter from his opinion if someone says fire this, fire that. Jerry just doesn't operate like that.
Jerry's don't see now. He's fucking
I don't know what maybe Jerry doesn't want to do it now because he doesn't want to have an interim. And have people say, well, no, you got to keep the interim as the head coach next year. That maybe he just wants to do it at the end of the season so he has more of a blank slate to work with versus, now I got to look at this interim guy. I think he just wants to have a clean slate. But now with Dak being out the rest of the year, see how Cooper Rush does. Or is it going to be Trey Lance?
Here's
Cooper
what
Rush
Jerry
got benched his first game, bro. He got benched in the third quarter.
Here's what Jerry doesn't want to do: spend any more money. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to. It he already has to pay Parsons coming up. He already paid Dak a bunch of money. He already paid CD a bunch of money. He's like, I'm not going to pay a bunch of money to get another coach. You know what I mean? I'm good. You know?
Yeah. Dak injury and
then CD Lamb said, the light was blinding me. I couldn't find it on that would-be touchdown. Maybe curtains should be available for AT&T Stadium. And Jerry Jones like, what do you want me to do? Take down the whole stadium and build a new one? That ain't going to happen. Damn.
Come on, Jerry. It's just a yacht.
Right?
It's just a yacht. I mean, come on.
Get the curtains from the super yacht and put it over the stadium.
Yeah, so we got look. It's gonna be the next 8 weeks. Are gonna be very interesting, especially in the North. So many division games. I don't know if I like how the NFL packed the league with so many division games at the end instead of spreading them out a little bit more. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, the Lions got away with one this week. You know, the Packers have gotten away with some. The Bears, even with our problems the last couple of weeks, are still hanging around. The Vikings are got away with one, and they're still hanging around. I mean, this whole division is still in play as far as making the playoffs. I don't know about winning the division, how much in play it is. The Lions might have a big enough lead right now, but with so many division games being late, that could change too.
Yeah, that's the thing about the NFL. You know what I mean? Anything can change. You know what I mean? NFL is so unpredictable.
I mean, I would die laughing if all of a sudden the Bears
It's 4 week, bitches.
that is funny though.
How do you take it down?
That's hilarious.
Emo Phil.
He's got a long way to go to catch up with Phil.
Yeah, he's not quite there yet. Like I said, he kind of he gives off some Phil Jackson vibes now, but he's not there yet. Not there yet. He got some Phil Jackson vibes, but he's not there.
Let him
yet.
go win 6 championships or 10 championships, and then
Yeah,
we'll
then we can talk about comparable
Yeah.
Phil Jackson, man. Come on, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
Phil got a toe ring for how many rings he got.
So, and look, when it comes to Eberflus and Mike, whatever, dude. Right now, he's my coach. Yeah, he's my coach. He's my coach. I'm going with him. I'm ride or dying with my coach right now because that's what you do with your team. But and also because I listen to what Foles actually said. Look, here's the thing too. If I get rid of Eberflus right now, what does it really get me? It doesn't get me anything right now today. Now, at the end of the season, that could change. That could change. I'm not saying it couldn't. It could change. If all of a sudden it becomes a possibility, if Gruden is all of a sudden available, I'm sorry, but bye, right? If I could get Gruden, see ya. You know, so I mean, I would drop Flus in a heartbeat if Gruden were available. But Gruden's not available.
You got to kind of break the chain though. Like,
I
there's
agree.
this guy that came out with a video, right? He said, you know, you guys selected Mitch Trubisky, fired, you know what I mean? Fired
Right.
Nagy. You know what I mean?
It's a cycle.
Now,
You got to break the cycle.
Yeah. Fields again, you mean? Got Fields basically a career, and then fired the coach. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Now you bring in Eberflus, where you got Caleb Williams, fired the coach. Like it's
That, if nothing else, I don't want to. I want to keep Flus just to break that cycle for another year.
yeah.
You know, just to break the cycle. I mean, we got to get out of this cycle. Now, some guys like Mike are more than happy to stay in the cycle. But
you know what the Bears could do that would solve their problem right away? They could keep Eberflus. They just got to make a call to Cleveland and hire Ken Dorsey as their offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he would bring Caleb's level of play up immediately, dude.
We'll see
Look
what
what he
happens.
did with Josh Allen.
We'll talk more about it tomorrow. Everyone, have a great day. JB is next. Thanks for joining us.
Go back, go.
Packers.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
He has time. He's got left side. Dobbs is there. Leaping grab. Touchdown. Touchdown.